Well, good morning, guys. Still here at William Creek. It's the next morning. Had a fantastic night last night around the campfire with a nice family I met, Penny and Gilly and their two daughters, and they'd seen the big lap and saw me and waved me down and come and said g'day, and so it turned out we were both camping at William Creek, so we had a good night. So this morning I've packed up and ready to go. That's William Creek behind me there. But the mission today is to get to Mount Dare. It's 450 kilometres away, so it's a decent drive, and hopefully the road's not too bad. I know the road gets progressively worse the further north you go, so I want to get a fairly good start. It's now 9:45. It's not exactly early, but we'll hit the road, we'll get going, and I'll see you a bit further down the track. I've just left William Creek. I hope you can hear me. It's pretty loud with the vibration from the corrugated road here. Yeah, every time I go there it gets a bit better. It was when I first went there, Jen and I stopped there on it was actually a little tour that my mate Matt had organised. He'd just done a tour guiding course and wanted to practice on some of his friends, and so he ran a tour up to the top end. Jen and I went on that. We took our Hilux and took a couple of the other guests with us in the Hilux, and a fantastic trip we did in about 2 weeks.
Oh God. Can you see that? Oh, oh, a bit of grunt there. Pretty sensational stuff.
And we stopped at William Creek on the way. We came up the Oodnadatta Track. There's a little airstrip there because they do scenic flights out over Lake Argyle. And back in those days, they used to park their planes right in front of the pub. And it was quite famous for it. You know, if you bought a postcard from William Creek, there'd be these little Cessna planes parked out the front. So we rocked in and we were just having a look around, taking a couple of photos. And there was actually a TV crew when we were there. And the TV presenter, young woman, same sort of age as us, she's come up to us and said, "G'day, how are you?" And we're like, "Oh wow, hi, how are you?" And she asked us if Jen and I would stand in front of the big sign. They had a sign there in those days. It was like a map of the area. She said, "Could you stand in front of the sign so we can get a shot for our TV show?" We're like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And so we did that, and it turns out that the show was Getaway, and the presenter was Katrina Roundtree. And it was when she virtually had just started on the shot, and we didn't recognise her and hadn't seen her before. But when we were pretty keen to watch Getaway after that, and to see if we could see ourselves on the TV, and that's when we discovered who she was. So anyway, a little bit of trivia there for you. So the William Creek's a great spot. It's a nice little stopover. You know, the caravan park's pretty basic, and you know, let's say the facilities could do with a little improvement, but they're not bad. They're certainly better than the last couple of years. And you can have a campfire in the caravan park and things like that. So it's not bad. It's pretty cheap. So anyway, today the mission is to get to Mount Dare, and Mount Dare's 450 kilometres away, so it's going to be a big driving day. 450 k's doesn't sound like much if you're driving, you know, on the freeway or on the sealed roads, but on the roads out here, you know, 80 kilometres an hour pretty much for me is top speed. I know you can certainly drive faster than that, but I'd rather not. Stop at Oodnadatta, probably grab a bit of lunch, but otherwise it's just going to be a case of pushing through to Mount Dare, and then tomorrow from Mount Dare into Alice Springs. That's the plan. You know what? Things don't always go to plan, strangely. Algebukina Bridge, and not used anymore of course, but still in very good condition, heritage protected. Apparently this car that's wrecked down the bottom here was actually hit by a train. They were trying to get across the river when the river was flooded, so they thought they'd take the bridge instead, and it didn't work out too well because the train came along and actually pushed the car off. Thank you. Cheers. And the small ones aren't too hot, eh? Look at him drooling. Look at you drooling. Dribble and drool. These are some awesome chips. Well cooked, just how I like them. Buddy seems to like them like that too. A bit hot, but you don't seem to mind. There's a puddle now. Nice one. Good going. Well, I can certainly vouch for the hot chips at Oodnadatta Roadhouse. They were fantastic. Took them about 20 minutes to make them, but given how good they were, I'm happy to wait. And Buddy thought they were pretty good as well. Not that he would complain about any chips, he's not fussy really when it comes to chips. The track's a lot rougher now, and I just passed a guy riding his push bike. That's seriously tough going. I wouldn't mind doing it on a motorbike, but I don't know about a pushy. This is Fogarty's clay pan, and it's a whole lot of nothing. Oh, except that dog. Hey, buddy, what you doing? Up you get. Good boy. Good boy, buddy. What a good boy. About 135 kilometres to go, and it's 3:45, so I don't think we're going to get there before dark, but we'll just keep pushing on and see how we go. Oop. A few moguls again, it's like we're back in the Simpson. Bit of bovine traffic on the road in front of us here. Cow with her little bubba. Now which way are you going to go? Cows are usually pretty predictable. They don't tend to do anything silly. They're going to go one way, they'll go one way, unlike kangaroos, which often jump in front of the car. These two seem a bit reluctant to get off the road though. Hi cows. So this is Aringa waterhole. I thought we might just stop and have a quick look around. Looks like a little oasis in the middle of absolutely nothing. And Buddy was just scratching on the window, so I think he's trying to tell me he wants to get out and have a look around as well. Maybe he needs to do a wee. Let me get out, Buddy. Hey? That's what you needed, wasn't it, huh? So I'm keeping Buddy on the rope here. Not because I'm concerned that he'd run away. He's pretty good. He'll always come back if I call him. but I'm just conscious of dingo baits, 1080 baits, which can be anywhere really. Often you see a sign saying whether they're around, but I don't want to risk it, so I figure I'll just keep him close. And this might be the sort of place where they'd lay them, knowing full well that dingoes would come down here to have a drink. Wow, beautiful. You reckon, buddy? Going for a spin? Actually, it'd be a good place to camp, really. I think we'll keep going. We're on the home stretch into Mount Dare now, less than 10 kilometres to go, and it's the worst bit of road we've seen all day. So I'm going to be crawling in the last 10 kilometres. Right, this is pretty good. A little bit of generator background music, but that's okay. So tonight's dinner is literally going to be sausages, maybe even bread, and probably some sauce, but not much else. Keeping it really simple on this trip. Grass-fed oregano and parsley sausages. I've got some special buffalo wing sauce. I discovered this at Coles a while ago, and it is awesome. Put it on, obviously put it on your wings and on your buffalo if you have a buffalo as well. But I've found that it goes on sausages, steak, pretty much everything. What do you reckon? You like? All the people that we passed are currently coming in. We're ready. So this is actually Buddy's casserole that we make for him. I made a batch before I left. Froze it. Froze one half of it, and he's eaten the other half. Finished it this morning. It's basically just meat, vegetables, rice, potatoes, and gravy. That's his main food that he eats. A little bit of dry food thrown in, so he can just get all the extra vitamins and things that might be lacking in this. Because the vet said that's what we had to do. Still frozen, mate. Wow, it's not bad. It's been out of the freezer for coming up for 3 days now. Just the ice in the freezer, in the ice box to get that frozen. So some of that, what we'll do is we'll chuck your sausages in there, and they'll get cool, and your casserole will get warm. You'll be in business. That's the anticipation there, eh? Delish. Well, I have to say, when it comes to travelling with a dog, Buddy is pretty much as good as they get, I reckon. He loves to run, and Dalmatians love running around, there's no doubt about it. But he's perfectly happy to just sit in the back and sleep all day. He's had his dinner, and he's had a drink of water, he's had a number 2, and he's had a big wee, and all he wants to do is get into bed and go to sleep. And it's like 7:05. So I can just basically tuck him in, leave the window down a bit, leave him there, and he's going to stay there quite happily all night. And can't argue with that, eh? You're all ready for bed, aren't you, hey? You're all cosy. Oh yeah. It's a dog's life, isn't it? Eh? Hard day of sitting in the back seat sleeping. Getting out occasionally to have a walk around. Yeah, gonna need a good solid 12 hours of sleep now. Get ready for another day of sitting in the back sleeping. No. Beautiful morning here at Mount Dare. A couple of little dingoes wandering around earlier on, that was nice. Slight problem. I just thought I'd have a quick look around underneath the car just to make sure everything was okay, and give everything a look over and nothing's loose, nothing's come off, and found a little bit of a problem. There's oil leaking out of the back of the front right hub. So that's not ideal, and it's going to need to be fixed. It's the front right corner again. I don't know what it is that front right corner. It just seems to be jinxed. Everything seems to go wrong there. The bearing has the wheel bearing's gone twice, and now the back side. I mean, these things wear out, and it's just inevitable, I suppose. It's not that there's anything wrong with the car. It's just wear and tear. And you put it through a rough road, and that pushes everything to its limits, and you find those limits. Here he comes again. Sorry, buddy's walking backwards and forwards, and his rope's going to trip the tripod over. Oh, now he's going to go back again. Can you just find a spot and stay there? So anyway, I think I've got the seal. It comes with the wheel bearing kit. So now the question is, do I fix it here, or do I fix it in Alice Springs? I'd certainly rather do it in Alice Springs because I've got access to more parts or anything else I might need, help, etc. I can ring Terry, at Mr. Mods, and say, Terry, what do I do here? No, there's no phone service here. But the other obvious dilemma is, will it make it back to Alice Springs before it turns to crap? I think it probably will. If it's just a sealant that's leaking oil, well, that's not in itself like a collapsed wheel bearing sort of urgency. I don't think. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to head to Alice, but I won't go up the old Ghan Railway because it's super rough. I'll take the easiest path I can find, which will be probably out through Vink, and then turn west and head towards the Stewart Highway at Culgara, and then head up the Stewart Highway. At least I'll have most of the trip on sealed road, so it's smooth and unlikely to cause it to get any worse. Yeah, and I'll just keep stopping on a regular basis to keep an eye on it. I think that's the plan. I've got it on record now. If it turns out to be the wrong idea, well, we can look back and go, shoulda done this, shoulda done that.
No, you don't see too many around.
No, you don't see many around, do you? He's pretty unique. Good dog though.
Yeah, they're good dogs. It's just, everybody buys these bloody spoodles and cavoodles.
Little white furry things. Yeah. He loves travelling too.
Yeah, you take that all day, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's all good. Cheers, mate. Buddy's got fans. You got fans, buddy? Alright, here goes nothing, guys. To be honest, I'm slightly nervous. But, you know what? These things happen. Alice Springs 520. I think 104. So I'm going to take it nice and easy. Stop about every 15-20 minutes, have a quick squeeze, make sure it hasn't got any worse. And it seems to be functioning alright. It's not like it's driving any different. Like, I didn't go looking because I thought there was a problem. I was just doing a routine check. That squeak you can hear is the side step. It's not the hub. So it doesn't really matter what time we get to Alice Springs. Just like to get there at some time. That way tomorrow morning I can get up and just get the hub off, see what needs fixing. If it's something I can do myself, just do it right there and then. If I need more parts, well then I can go on and get some from somewhere and fix it myself, hopefully. I haven't gone in that deep before, but that's how you learn, isn't it? You get in there and do it. So I've just had an idea. I can, the GoPro that's sitting on the top of the roof here, I actually turn it on and off from my phone. I've just got an app on my phone, and I can actually see the picture from the GoPro on my phone. And I just thought for a second there, maybe using some jerry rig of suction cup and various GoPro holder components, I might be able to actually stick it to the front of the bull bar and point it underneath and actually be able to have a look at the inside of the hub whilst driving along. That's what I'm currently seeing. This is the picture from the roof. So that's the current state of it there. Hasn't got any worse than this morning. Like, this looks pretty much the same as it did this morning. It's leaking, but it's not gushing out. Alright, so this is the contraption. I'll take off the old GoPro. So there's a suction mount. This is the one that normally goes on the roof. So put that up there like that. Now I need to flip the picture, but I can do that on the software. Alright, so that's the idea. That goes on the bull bar. Well, let's go and do it, shall we? Okay. Well, that will do it, but just in case the suction cup lets go, these things have been known to happen before, then I'll tie it on. It's actually a guy rope from the tent, so I use it just as a spare. Come on, there we go. We'll flip the picture. Settings. There we go. Start driving and see what happens, eh? There we go. Remote cam. I've seen a few episodes of Air Crash Investigation, quite a few actually. It's one of my favourite shows, and I always find it weird that something goes wrong with an engine and the pilots can't see the engine. They can't have no vision back, and I think, well, why don't they mount cameras on the outside of the plane looking backwards so the pilot can actually see what's going on with the plane? If you can do it with a few $100 GoPro on your car, why can't they do it with a $50 million plane? Right, so this is the turn off to Culgra, I think. 180 to Culgra. certainly hope we get there because that's on the highway. It's all sealed road after that. So this is the start of the old Ganwat Railway Heritage Trail here. Now, that's the way I was going to go, but I'm not going to do that now. Obviously, this thing lets go on the front. I'm not going to want to be out in the middle of nowhere, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not really looking any worse. Just a slow leak. A little bit of splatter on the tyres. It's not particularly hot, just warm. That one's on the left side's pretty similar. Alright, we'll keep going. So this road here goes down to Lambert's centre of Australia, which is the centralmost, or the geographic centre of Australia. So it's 13 kilometres down that road, off the Fink Road, the Fink to Colgra Road, which is this one here. I'm not going to go down there today, obviously, because we got other issues, but I went there before on the Big Lap, and it was one of the extremes that we went to. Our mission for that trip was to get to the north, south, east, west highest point and the dead centre. There we go, Savannah in the middle, centralmost person in the entire country. So this is the geographic centre of Australia, centre of the continental Australia. It's obviously not the centre of the whole of Australia because Tasmania is included in that. And it's been dedicated to Dr. Bruce Philip Lambert, OBE.
For our family, Expedition Australia made it to the middle.
And there we have it. Lambert's on the GPS.
Oh, she just jumped out of the centre of Australia.
So past the halfway mark between Fink and Colgra, about 42 kilometres to go. And it's holding together. I just checked before and it was dripping, but not rapidly. I stopped for 10 minutes to give Buddy a little stretch of his legs, and in that time there was about 2 drips. So nothing drastic.
I feel comfortable letting you do on your own on the side of the road.
Yeah, okay.
Because you got to be so careful you don't get any dust or dirt or grit into anything, and it's a nightmare.
Can you just drop in and help me fix it?
Yeah, sure.
Just jump in your car, mate. You'll be here in a couple of days.